if you're waking up at 5 a.m. every morning to push your mind and your body to its max limit so that someone else can make millions of dollars off you and you see none of that in return, would you do it? I'd imagine the answer would be no. This is exactly what a college athlete does. College athletes wake up every single day being a full-time student and a full-time athlete. Now, both of those things alone are extremely hard. If you're an athlete, you're constantly waking up in the morning to go work out, watch film, practice, more film, work out again, and then perform whenever you have games and things like that. And then being a student, you have all these classes that you need to graduate from whatever program you're doing, and you have to study and spend a lot of time on schoolwork. Well, the NCAA uses college athletes for their own gain. I've always believed that college sporting events are the best and most exciting thing you can witness in the sports world, which I think speaks for itself with how many people watch and how many people attend. I mean, Neyland Stadium, for example, you'll have 80, 90,000 people there every single Saturday just ready to watch one college football game. Today, I will be introducing you to the robbery that the NCAA commits, and I will be convincing you to fight for the fairness of all college athletes. I will start with how much money the NCAA makes off college athletes. So the NCAA makes an astronomical amount just from college sports. So in 2019, the NCAA made roughly $1,118,500,000. That's according to Stasty.com. So as you can see here in this chart, this is annual revenue from sports organizations, and the NCAA is in first place with $1 billion, and then the NFL makes close to $1 billion, but not quite. The NCAA is just college athletes alone, and it's the top earning organization. Many would argue that the athlete's payment would be getting a free education, but if you look at the amount of money that is made off of them performing sports versus what the cost of an education would be, it's completely unfair. It's incomparable. So the next thing to look at would be how much the universities make off of the athletes. So the universities generate around $31.9 million each year from football alone. That's just on average, all of them together. Some more, some less. But that's $31.9 million alone, just from football. The next 35 sports on average generate $31.7 million combined. It's according to BusinessInsider.com. Another thing about these schools is that they're often known for the athletes that are there at the moment. When a school is good athletically, they're everywhere, all over sports news. I mean, they're everywhere for doing good, highlights and all kinds of things. College athletes see absolutely none of the money that are used from them being on advertisements, billboards. I mean, they see none of it. They make appearances at places and sign autographs, and they can't receive any compensation for it. So what are the pros to giving a college athlete a paycheck? So there are a lot of reasons a college athlete should get paid. I think number one would be to support their families. A lot of them come from nothing, so there's a lot of people that need the money to help pay for books and things like that. But then again, it's also just nice to have some extra money to go get something to eat so they don't just have to eat from the meal plan. It's nice to help their family out at home if they're paying out of pocket because the kid didn't get a full scholarship or something like that, because school's expensive. So it's nice to pay for something like that. Another thing would be many would stay longer in college. Many leave college as soon as they can to try and go pro so that they can get paid and get money. If they were getting paid while in college, many of them would stay, probably complete a degree, and go ahead and get something to fall back on if going pro doesn't work out, because very few people go pro. A lot of athletes actually give up their eligibility whenever they attempt to go pro because they'll hire an agent, they think they can do it, and then they go undrafted, and now their free education is gone. They can't go back and play college sports. They're left with nothing. They have to go back and pay for school, keep working, try and find something else to do. And I think another thing would be learning to be fiscally responsible. So whenever they go pro, there's a lot of athletes will hear about going broke because they receive so much money all at one time. They make millions and millions of dollars as soon as they sign that dotted line. They've never had money before, so of course they're going to go blow it on dumb stuff and end up being broke or in debt. So I think paying them a little bit in college would help learn how to manage money. And they'd be smarter off whenever they make it pro. I think another thing would just be getting what they deserve. Many college football games, college basketball games, they sell jerseys, and they make a lot of money based off just certain players because they'll sell jerseys with their number on it, but they can't put their name. And everybody knows what the jersey number represents, but the kid can't make any money even though he's the one that's selling those jerseys. They also make appearances, like football teams will go places and sign autographs and do things like that, but they can't get any money for it. But businesses are getting paid to allow them there, and people are getting paid to make them show up, but they aren't getting any of it, which is completely unfair. So I think they just need to get something for what they deserve. As I conclude, I want you to think about how you would feel if you were the face of a college and an organization that made millions of dollars and you were not receiving payment. I think a good example of this would be Duke and Zion Williamson last year. If you watch basketball, you know who Zion Williamson is. He was everywhere. I mean, he's 6'8", 280 pounds. He's like a generational athlete. He's huge. So he was everywhere. He's in every commercial. Every time he did anything, he was in the news. I mean, he's huge, and people he got no money for that. Well, that we know of. There's a lot of places that pay their players illegally, and when they get caught, ruins their career, ruins the coach's career, things like that. Just think about how the NCAA is a corrupt organization that does not pay their employees who make the money for them. I hope I have convinced you to help college athletes get what they deserve. LeBron James once said, the narrative is they get a free education, but you aren't bringing me on campus for an education. You're bringing me here to help you win a championship.